There's no intelligent life.
What kind of world do you want to live in? What kind of world do you want for your children? The thing about dog owners, and all who perpetuate dog ownership, which includes the pet industry, is that they are actually shaping the world we all have to live in. Dog owners can't pretend they aren't guilty of any wrongdoing. After all, we must all live with the results of their choices and their actions. Dog ownership isn't some benign personal hobby, where those who engage in it keep it to themselves. It's the opposite of that. They want to distract us with other crimes, but dogs make streets unsafe. I've done at least 2 compilations, where the headline of a news story is literally something like, "Neighborhood terrorized by dogs." That is what dogs do. They terrorize, because they are vicious and fearsome, and when they are able to roam freely, people are unsafe. Clearly here, I am mostly referring to the bully breeds and other comparable dogs such as Rottweilers and Mastiffs, as well as German Shepherds and others. No one is relaxed when one of these dogs is loose. The opposite is true. As for the tiny, worthless yappers, they are often the most aggressive. And while they are not super dangerous, at least to adults, they are still a total nuisance. And all dogs contribute in terms of the waste problem, which I have discussed in multiple previous videos at some length. Furthermore, the abrasive and uninviting cacophony of dog barking that permeates so many residential neighborhoods and apartment communities. This is another contribution of dog culture to the world.
Dog free, that's the way to be. No self-respecting humans, a slave to beasts.
I once made the following observation about this movement, the anti-dog movement. Those of us who oppose the presence of dogs in society, we come from all walks of life. One thing that's clear is that we all seem to value the following. Accountability, as in, we want dog owners held accountable. Although most ideally, no one would be a dog owner. We also value community, education, family, human potential, protection for the most vulnerable in society, liberty within reason, and the regulation of human affairs when it is necessary. Additionally, we value responsibility, the rule of law, safety, sanitation, sanity, and sanctity of the home. We want what's best for ourselves and our loved ones, and we wish to be protected from unjust impositions and undue violence. It is evident that these are values we hold on account of our objection to the presence of dogs in human society.
Our neighborhood, where dogs always cause mayhem. It's ignored when you complain, neighbors praise them.
Perhaps the worst thing about dog culture is the way it normalizes so many destructive, environmentally unfriendly, injurious, antisocial, barbaric, and disgusting practices and social norms. A simple definition of mayhem is violent or damaging disorder, chaos. If dog culture values anything, it is that. Basically the opposite of the values I listed earlier. Many dog owners really do seem to enjoy noise, disturbance, filth, disorder, violence, and chaos. The fact that there are so many online videos and tutorials on how to deal with attacking or charging dogs, this also shows just what a negative impact dogs have on society. But why are we accepting any of this as normal, safe, sane, or even remotely acceptable? Personally, I don't want the possibility of a sudden and brutal dog attack to be a risk entailed just because of living in a city. Dogs are the only aggressive predatory animals we have to worry about in the fucking city. Think about that for a second.
Dogs and their enabling owners, they hold on to fables, these pathetic loners.
So, I've been doing this for a pretty long time. One thing I have noticed is the exceptionally repetitive nature of dog nutter rhetoric. These people come on and say the same nonsense over and over and over again. The same tired talking points, trite slogans, and dismissive fallacies. It's the same exact script to the letter. I won't counter them all here, and nor will I address them at any great length. I won't even mention them all. But I will explain why you people need to stop saying this shit. And by the way, a good percentage of the time, this includes posts that are nothing but personal attacks. So, for starters, many of these are mindless mantras and thought-terminating cliches, all of which we've heard and debunked thousands of times already. Stupid crap like,
"Blame the owner, not the dog!"
And of course, there are all the logical fallacies. By far, the most frequently used is the red herring. Basically, a distraction. And I will just say, don't come on here talking about something completely unrelated to the dog problem, like cats, cars, or cows. And of course, you don't actually care about resolving anything, but especially not the dog problem. You're like the millionth person to regurgitate such things, and you have likewise swallowed these talking points whole and uncritically, and you churn them out in such a rote and witless fashion. I don't know if you realize how much of a lemming you are. Another thing I am rapidly losing patience for are remarks about my use of AI voice. This is not useful to anyone. It's not interesting in the slightest, and you're not clever for noticing that this is how I do most of my videos. More importantly, pointing this out is not an argument that I'm incorrect about anything I've stated. A variant of this is this notion that people are wrong just because they don't put themselves out there, be it by using their actual voice or even by showing their faces. And I will quote something another person said, which addresses this ridiculous sentiment.
I think it was the masked analyst who I saw point out that, until very recently in internet history, everyone was faceless and anonymous. People have debated and exchanged opinions on news groups and message boards for decades, without any expectation of attaching their faces or personal identity to their words. A face, or a lack thereof, does not enhance or diminish the validity of an idea or opinion. The fact is, being able to freely express yourself without fear of it affecting your everyday life has long been the beauty and appeal of the internet for millions and millions of people.
And before you cry censorship, that's not what this is. You can't just spout whatever garbage you like simply because you have an opinion. I mean, technically you can, but you can also be blocked from somewhere for doing so. I've been criticized for the amount of trolls and troglodytes I've hidden from my channel, but my comment sections would be absolutely littered with spam, thoughtless one-liners, and abusive bullshit from dog nutters if I didn't moderate my channel. I really don't think people realize the sheer volume of junk I get. It seems the trolls flock to my channel more so than any other in this space. Instead of complaining that you were hidden from a channel or blocked elsewhere online, you should reflect on the behavior that caused you to be shunned. If you're being a turd on purpose, we're just going to scrape you off our shoes and toss you in the rubbish bin where you belong. I say this because encountering your comments is the online equivalent of stepping in dog shit or coming across it on the sidewalk. It requires cleanup, and it's nothing but crap. Maybe try not being a contemptible cretin for a change.
What is that smell?
I've got poo-poo on my shoe. I've got poo-poo on my shoe. It's poo-poo, poo-poo.
Stop hating dogs so much because it hurts my feelings.
To every dog nutter leaving me unsolicited and unhelpful comments like,
"Get therapy,"
or
"Stop hating dogs so much because it hurts my feelings,"
I never consulted you for posting advice. And when I say advice, imagine the word in quotations. I require no lesson from you on how to create content. Whether I could benefit from therapy or not is none of your business and completely unrelated to my stance on dogs, dog ownership, and dog culture. And also, I'm fairly certain you are not qualified to diagnose me at all. I simply make videos about how those things are a negative force in extant society. They are terrible, and I understand that you are in denial about being a part of those terrible things. You would rather believe you're doing nothing wrong, and it is evident you know you are. Because if you didn't think you were contributing to great social harm, you would not be worried about my words. Actually, let me put it a little bit differently. If you truly believed I was simply insane and completely wrong, you would not bother writing to me. You would not attempt to influence my thinking in any way. Not through mockery, insults, fallacies, weak arguments, personal attacks, attempts at intimidation or censorship, or threats. Not if you believed I was completely off base. You can seethe about it all you want. You can troll till the cows come home. It will not change reality. It will not convince me I'm wrong. Especially when, even after hundreds of your cookie-cutter comments, not a one of you has presented a single compelling reason why dogs are actually not a bad thing. It's always whataboutisms, personal attacks, or insults and weird veiled threats. Get a new playbook. I remain convinced that the world would be better without dogs in it, because that's what the evidence and experience supports. And by the way, I am not merely stating opinions. While I do have opinions to share, my approach to presenting information is fundamentally rooted in evidence and lived experiences rather than subjective beliefs. The entire endeavor, in point of fact, is rooted in an interest for conversations to remain anchored in verifiable realities, rather than being swayed by individual biases or anecdotal accounts. You know, like the ones dog nutters present to me all the time. Moreover, incorporating lived experiences into my presentations enriches the factual framework by adding depth and context. Many try to discredit my videos on the basis that I do have many lived experiences to draw upon, as well as those of others with similar experiences. However, it makes those occurrences no less real. We know what dogs are like because we unfortunately encounter them all the time. Dog ownership does pose safety risks for communities. Dogs do disrupt our peaceful existence in a number of ways. Their presence does have direct and indirect effects on society, and these are not positive effects. Instances of dog bites are more common than one might expect. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, over 4.5 million people experience dog bites annually in the United States alone. Such incidents can lead to serious injuries and emotional trauma for both children and parents alike. Finally, while dog ownership is often romanticized as a source of joy and companionship within a societal framework, it is essential to recognize its various potential and actual harms. Those of us in this space, often called dog haters as though that were a bad thing, are frequently on the receiving end of false accusations, slanderous lies, and baseless character attacks. One of the most dishonest things I have read in a long time is a comment from some time ago from a nutter who claims not to even like dogs, but who furiously denied the reality of dogs as mindlessly aggressive predators, which are very out of place in human settlements. So what did they say to me exactly?
You don't want to solve problems, you just want to kill dogs, which makes you the problem.
Now, obviously, this couldn't be further from the truth. Another example of the disingenuous strawman attacks, which we can always expect from these dog brains. What makes dog culture so sinister is that people who don't even own dogs will often resort to all the same dishonest tactics simply to project dogs as harmless companions. And him telling me I don't want to solve any problems, that's ridiculous, considering the fact that dog defenders are the ones who are uninterested in solving the constellation of issues that arise exclusively from the presence of dogs in extant society.